Hello. Huh. So see, the statistics is being very categorically required nowadays because in the past time, like I can say that before 2 to 3 decades ago, we used to be say the quantitative research and quantitative research only, and in the quantitative research we used to be take the statistical parameters. Quantitative research was basically coming towards the way of the literature review. Okay, so it's basically coming to that what some of the literature we research have been done means one of the poet, one of the author or someone's biography you are trying to be study and make the doctorate. But today's level it has no importance. Today quantitative research is also being coming under the way of the blended research because of the development of the ground theory of the management. So basic understanding of the statistics is being required. I am going to be bifurcate into 3 parameters in this particular case, and then I will be share this particular thing with you also, where the different type of the statistical tools can be used. Second thing, any of the students or the research scholar who wanted to go to the more higher level of or the better level of the research study is always being advisable that they should know when which type of the test is to be used. And there is some study material being given by the university also. So basically when we say the statistics is basically the numerical facts are being referred to as a statistics. However, the term statistics refer to things beyond just the numerical values. So it is going beyond the numerical values. Number three, in the absence of numerical facts, researcher and practitioner would just have to rely on their intuition. So, when our doctor study is going to be based fully on intuition, then this doctor study cannot be considered as a quantity level of research. See, the very important thing is that based on my experience of 24 years, more than 28 years in the after postdoctorate experience after doing the doctorate from Ahmedabad, I seen the one thing very clear that if the anyone is being doing the research without any statistical facts, numerical facts, analytical parameters, then it may be okay that the UGC may approve it, and there is no problem. But the global level recognition of your doctoral study is not being accepted. When my subject was basically on the empirical study of the telecommunication and computer industry in India, in the year 1989 to 94, I was doing my doctoral study. The topic itself was somewhere coming to the formation of the modern. But whenever there is a formation of the modern has come, I am supposed to be take the sample companies. So at that time in India, total 34 companies were there. I have taken the database, and finally the 18 companies have been presented in my doctoral research. But what happened that has given the some way that what are the numerical factors are going to be affect to the productivity and profitability of the telecommunication and computer industry involved in the stage units. So that basically make the impact of better way. So this is the one thing you have to understand numerical facts. So your basic understanding of statistics is quite important. Any decision taken out of institution is highly dependent on the person taking it, and it is not always correct because institution may be wrong. Because if I'm being working on my project, then my personal prejudice is going to be affected, which is not correct. So decisions should be based on the hard fact, and those should be mostly correct. So numerical facts, we have to understand the numerical facts and use them for their study or business. It means that we have to understand the descriptive statistics and the inferences statistics. Two way. Descriptive statistic is basically the fundamental of the statistics, where we try to be work out up to the standard deviation or variances. When we try to be talk about the inferential statistic, means we apply the statistical test. And application of the statistical test is going to be the more important. So you understand that one thing, numerical facts as it is given does not have any indications. So numerical facts is needed to be connected in a proper way and in a systematic way, and then analyzed by you in a meaningful conclusion. The very important word I have used is a meaningful conclusion. So the field of statistics is about connecting, analyzing, and making decisions using the data for the success. So when we try to say the data is the fact and figures. So those fact and figures are going to be connected by us. So when we connect it, it is become the part of the data. Then we try to be make the converting it into the knowledge and understanding way. So we try to be make the data in the organized form, analyzed, interpreted, and presenting for future decision making. This is going to be the quite important. Why we should study the statistics? Now study of the statistics, like some two our research scholars have been doing under the marketing. So they are going to be how the data is going to be used for the business decision purpose. We as an academicians are providing the support base, then developing the models by using the different statistical tools. Those the business managers are getting the understanding of that business model, or we can say the modern development, linear or non-linear type of modern development have been done by us. They try to use it for the managing and decision making. So you should have the ability to purposefully connect the data, organize it, analyze it, and conclude. It means that if we have to make that if we are doing a statistical thinking, data is being converted into the meaningful way. So that definition of the statistics is coming by the two way. Number one, it is known as the statistical data, and second is known as the statistical methods. So both term is very important, and both thing is being very important. Now when we try to be looks towards the doctor and student, we normally prepare our research proposal, where we try to be define the research methodology we are going to use, like a sample size or what way the data connection will be done. So the very important thing is that the data connection tool are being decided based on statistical methods, techniques we are going to use for decision making. So there are two words is coming. Number one, statistics. Second, parameters. Now the very important thing is that when the data have been taken from the sample study, it is known as statistics. Like when we try to be say, in a college when there the 5,000 students are studying, and we wanted to find out some behavior parameters, okay, that whether the students are aggressive students or non-aggressive students, or they are of the moderate level, then it is very difficult for us to study the behavior of the on 5,000 students. Then we take a sample study. By selecting the sample, we will make sure that we are selecting the sample on the unbiased way. It means that there is no personal prejudice having happened. But whenever there is a, theoretically speaking, because we know the Indian census method, in Indian census method every 10 years, the India's population study have been done. So that is theoretically known as the parameters. So they are being computed from a complete census, which are considered to be precise and valid measurement of the population. So parameters is basically says what we wish to know. That is one of the very important thing we have to understand about our population. And statistics are used to estimate the population parameters. It means that normally whenever we are taking the sample, normal practice as a researcher we have is that there is a 95% confidence we should have in our decision. So 5% level of significance. Level of significance is known as the alpha value, which is 5%. Normally we take it. So we say that whatever the conclusions have been drawn by us is a 95% correct. But in the case of pharmaceutical industries, where they are doing a practical research, they will be talking about the level of significance 1%. It means that 99% confidence they should have it in their database. I think you got the point. If you have any question, you can raise your question, no problem. So there is a, I said in the beginning that statistics can be considered in two ways. Fundamental statistics, so I can say the descriptive statistics and inference statistics. So we understand the concept of inference. Inference is basically we can draw the conclusion based on some evidence. Like we try to say that, like say for the sake of understanding, that whenever we go to any place, so normally we are capable enough to conclude ourselves that a person may be from the UP side, person may be from the Bengal side, person from the Gujarat side. Okay, because of their system of talk and everything, give us some idea. So that is known as inference. But those type of inference are basically based on our own intuition, because we have the belief that how the people of a particular state, a particular religious caste is going to be behaved. That is our intuition. So intuition is giving the inference. But when we try to form any model, so research is basically considered as a moving from known to unknown and then coming from unknown to new known situation. It's a very important. You are knowing something, from that the knowledge about it, you try to go towards the basic cause of happening of something. It means that you are moving from known thing to the unknown thing, and then from those unknown we develop the parameters, and from that parameters we develop the known model. Okay, we develop the some model. or some authenticate conclusions. So that is basically happens based on the statistical inferences, because 100% population study is practically not possible. So a set of procedure in which the sample size and sample statistics are being properly drawn by us. So very important thing, sample size and sample statistics we have to perform on the particular way, and that's going to be make us to understand that how we should move it. So by statistics we define it as the aggregate of facts. Aggregate of facts means we are trying to be make the summation of fact affected to a marked extent. Very important, affected to a marked extent. It means that whenever the one of the student is going, research scholar is going to be do the study about the consumer behavior, so there is a Ninkus scan will be used, and where the marked extent may be going towards the 1 to 5 level of Ninkus scan, or someone can go towards a 1 to 7 level of Ninkus scan. That is depends on the availability of the data and statistics, and that is going to be affected by multiplicity of causes numerically expressed. So whenever we are going to be use the Ninkus scan, we maybe say that 1 may be highly ineffective, 7 may be highly effective, like that, enumerated or estimated according to a reasonable standard of accuracy. You know, number of times people used to say that person particular behavior is below the average but above the below average. So you are somewhere come down to the in between level. So in such cases, we have to use the different type of the variable. Hence, another point is that parallelly I am discussing the statistics to be used as a descriptive as well as for the test statistics. So at that time, I'm not going to repeat it. Connected in a systematic manner for predetermined purpose, and it should be placed in relation to each other. So statistics defined with reference to statistical methods. When we say the statistics, then in the basic statistics books, it is only going to be said that you find out the center value. You find out the variations of the particular database from the center value. But when we try to be define the statistics in the research methodology, we say it's a statistical method. So it's an arts and science of connection, organization, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. So that we have to understand that what we have to analyze and what should be the interpretation. So I'm not saying that the interpretation should be decided by you, but before you start your research, you should know what final tools I am planning to use it, and that is basically known as 100 statistical method. Okay, that 100 statistical method books are being available of the Dr. Govind Kunj from the Amazon, and there they are being describing the 100 different type of the statistical tools are to be used. I'm also going to give you the different type of the methods we are going to be used for the parametric statistics and non-parametric statistics. Parametric statistics, where we are assuming that data is normally distributed. Go to the when we say the data is going to be normally distributed, it means that it is a band shape. Then we are using the parametric test. When we are being of the opinion that the data is not going to be the band shape, like when we try to be look towards the Gujarat, then what will happen that there are the 29 states are there in India. So on 29 states are going to be have the different behavior. So in such case we can say that if we try to study the behavior of the Indian citizen, then we can normally say that data is not band shaped, but data is going to be not normally distributed or not the band shaped. So we use the non-parametric test. But when we try to take the sample study of the Bengali citizens or Maharashtrians or the Gujaratis, so when we select a particular cluster and we try to understand the behavior, then generally it is going to be band shaped. So, or normally distributed. So it is going to be taken as a parametric test. Now I am going to be give you some way the when to use parametric test and non-parametric test. Here our data is going to be of 4 types. Thus having come later on. So any data that has not been organized is referred to as your data or the ungrouped data. It means that we are taking the data of the marks secured by 50 students in 6 subjects. It's your data. Or you can say the marks secured by 1 student in 7 subjects. And when he talks about a 7 subject mark, it is your data. But those your data is not being useful for analysis. So we have to organize it to make any analysis or inferences. So quantitative data are going to be useful in categorizing and identifying. So quantitative data is going to be normally the nominal data and the ordinal database. Nominal database means we are trying to be saying nominally we assign the value. When we say the gender, man, female and transgender, then we can say geo 1 and 2. Now geo 1 and 2 itself does not indicate the value or the meaning of the 1 and 2 or geo. It is only the identification that man, woman, like that. Because someone can give it 7, 8, 9 also. You cannot challenge it. So that is nominal database. Then there is going to be the ordinal database where the order have been established. That first rank, second rank, third rank. That is basically known as the ordinal database. When we come down to the quantitative database, we are going to be have the data in the form of interval or ratio. Interval means we take a particular difference as a valuable difference. Like we can say 1 to 5 mark, 1 to 5, 6 to 10. That is going to be the interval database. When we use the ratio database, the geo value is being taken into consideration. So quantitative database are being organized by turning responses by categories and noting the reason in the table against each category. The table in which numbers are noted are of two types, namely summary table and contingency table. Now I am coming to this. If data belonging to a single quantitative variables, very important point, friends. Single quantitative variable is organized in the form of table, then it is known as a summary table. If data belongs to two or more quantitative variables are organized in the form of table, then the table is called contingency table. So it means that in the summary table, we are saying the students who have secured the mark between 0 to 5, then 6 to 10, like that. When we make it, then we are taking the marks secured by the students, and then by using the TANIBY, every student vision sheet we pick up and put the TANIBY and count it. So it is known as a summary table. But now in a same class vision, I am doing one thing: boys, guns, and marks secured. Understand, very important, that I am taking the marks secured by the students. So I am making a range of the, for example, 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, like that. And then I am making a two column, boys and girls. And then I can say whether a person who secured a particular mark is basically is a boy or girls, and I can put the TANIBY. And based on that, when I am preparing the table, it is known as contingency table. This word is very importantly required by us as a teacher when we go to the classroom, because sometimes the students are raising the question on this. Now, so organizing the quantitative data by using the ordered arrays of frequency distribution. But I have already said that somewhere you can decide that out of 50 students, how many boys, girls, there you are taking it in a quantitative way. Whenever we are saying the marks secured by students in a particular subject, we are ordering the age. Now, if my question paper was of 5 marks, assume that it was the weekend exam of the 5 marks, then I can prepare the list of students secured 0 mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Possible. But when it is going to be mid-sem exam of 50 marks, then I cannot make it from 0 to 50. I make the grouping of that, and that is known as frequency distribution. Here I set the order data, like 105, 13.86, 7.20, 289.21. So here the 2 decimal points are also being taken into consideration. Now this database I am arranging. So here you know that my first student's number mark was 105.68. But when I ordered it, I am ordering in the ascending order. Some place I can adjust my data in the ascending order also. Somewhere I can place it in the descending order also, based on my purpose of study. Now here I say the frequency distribution is basically the table used in statistics as a method of data connect. It's a very important point and the definition have been given. Number 2, it needs the set of scores, and the frequency a TANI is often used. So this is basically considered as a TANIBY, where the methodology is that after the 4th line, if you come to the 5th observation, you are making a diagonal cross. A survey was done with a class of 30 students to see how many times they had played a sports last month. One time or 6 score like that. It is being taken. So it is basically indicating that 31 students have been covered frequency. If we make the summation of this frequency, then the summation of frequency is coming to I think you have seen that it is summation. Sum of frequency the sum of frequency have been coming to 31. So which indicates that there are the 31 study have been undertaken for this study, and the frequency distribution table have been calculated by us, and this is going to be very important. So frequency distribution is the easiest way to convert the raw data into the group data. In a frequency distribution, data can be organized in a class interval. That's why I say you can use it for like you can create a class interval of say 0 to 4. So 5 number of venues are going to be covered under this, and then second I can create for 5 to 9, and against that I can create on frequency distribution, and that is basically known as the frequency distribution have been formed by us. I think friends is clear to one of you. Now after we make the frequency distribution, there are two methods. Number one, something we can visualize and something we can edit. When we try to go to the medical doctor, yes, any question? When we try to go to the medical doctor and we try to see the ECG report is being coming, there's some frequency is being happen and they are capable enough to take the distribution. So they are using the graphical method. Or whenever we are taking the blood report, laboratory reports are coming, then laboratory reports are coming with an absolute value. So a frequency distribution is a tabular summary of data showing the number of observations in each of the 7 non-overlapping observations. This is very important. We are trying to say that it is going to be the non-overlapping classes. If we try to see that it is going to be the overlapping, then there is no meaning, because if the data is going to be overlapping to some place, then we are not capable enough to remove it from the, or we can say that our decisions may come to the wrong way. So we have to make sure that it should be coming to the non-overlapping class. The frequency distribution is a summary of numerical value which are tenied in a set of numerically ordered graphs. Numerically we are ordering it. So broadly speaking, we classify into two types based on the type of class. One is known as the discrete class frequency distribution, and second is going to be the discrete class frequency table. When we say the discrete class frequency distribution, means marks secured from the 5 marks examination 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each value taken specific. When we say the continuous class frequency, we create a class of 0 to 4, 5 to 9 like that. This classification is for the purpose of understanding frequency distribution well. Moreover, this classification will be useful by various calculations related to data analysis. When data is organized, we begin to discover the pattern. Now here in the graph, I have shown the pattern. The sum of the data is coming on the upper side of the diagonal way by the red color. Lower side, it is shown by the green color, and there is a in between line have been drawn. So there is a pattern have been discovered. We can understand the pattern or relationship in a better way. It means that primarily we can understand what is happening, but it is not always correct. So second diagram way we can make it in a most effective way method. The diagrammaticon is a very popular and interesting method. They are used in the form of the graph and charts. Normally, whenever the data or information have been presented with respect to sales, profit, or for a particular branch, every salesman wise, the last month performance and this month performance and so, then speedily it can be said that in the April month, the sense here we can say very clearly that in the January to April, the sense is also increasing and profit is also increasing. Now, do you have any question on this of the basics of statistics? Friends, any question? Okay for you? Yes, your other colleague can also say what is your position. Are you clear? I already made here my YouTube channel detail and everything is there. This show is going to be put on the YouTube channel within a day or